Roll call. Tom?
Yes.
Jason?
Here.
Sherry? Not here. Beth? Here. Dave?
Here.
Sean?
Here.
Annette?
Here.
Tundra? Absent. Barb? Here. Bernie? Absent. Larry? Sherry? And Devin?
Looking over the minutes for corrections or deletions.
Sherry's on there twice.
Okay. I see Sherry is on here twice.
Yeah, I
Just need
saw
to remove that.
Was she here?
I don't believe she was here.
Yes, she was.
So
She
take
was
her
here
off.
last time.
She was not here. That's when she had her surgery.
Right.
So
Right.
take Sherry off of the
Removed from the current, the top list.
roll call list.
Yep.
Right. And Tom Horseman's name's spelled wrong, so I'll fix that too.
Okay.
But I don't know if he's registered as a guest when he's operating the camera.
Or does he just go with staff?
Yeah.
All right, do I have a motion to accept?
I may have a motion to accept the last month's meetings as edited.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was Larry, right?
A couple of things real quick. I would like to make a motion to the rec board holds a executive session to discuss the acquisition of property after the meeting. Meeting upstairs in the second room conference. All in favor?
Wait, motion to what? Executives?
Say it again, Tom, so Barb can write it down.
You ready, Barb?
Nope. Okay, executive session.
I also would like to make another motion that the rec board holds executive session to discuss acquisition of land. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright. So after the meeting, we'll be going upstairs to the second room conference.
Well, it's still during the meeting, we adjourn the meeting after it takes. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope you got
We have
those.
guests from Ambits.
We have lots of guests. We have the,
Can everybody use their mics so that we can hear out here in the peanut gallery?
Sure.
Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Stuckey. I am this year's treasurer for the Sandusky Ambets Baseball League. This is LaMarcus Carr. He's our president. We are really excited about this year. This is a year of revamp, refresh. We have all new board members, a couple returning, but all with great motives and ideas for this season. Some of our big goals we have coming up, we're going to do some field updates. We're going to be adding a pitching mound to our junior league to get our kids up to speed with when they're getting into the high school sports, so they're ready for that. With that, we've also ran some clinics this spring, early spring, tried that out. We're going to do some improvements with that as we move along, maybe do more in the fall after the season. Another item we're working with this year is we are investing into our umpires and scorekeepers. We are definitely going to make sure we have certified umpires out on our fields for every game, as well as we're bringing back the old scorekeeping, where we can give the information to the Sandusky Register, and it goes out there so kids can be highlighted, because that's the key. These kids really need to be highlighted and need to be seen in the public. Do you want to speak on some?
Yes, my goal as the league commissioner, this is my first year. I played down there as a kid, and I'm born and raised in this city, and my goal is to bring it back to where I was as a kid, having fun, more teams, giving positive aspect for the community, a positive outlook in the community, and trying to shed all the negative outlooks and negative perspective we have right now. So that is my goal, that's Megan's goal, that's what our whole new board goal is too. And we just want to try to make everything acceptable for the community of Sandusky.
With that, we're also looking at, this year's the 75th year of baseball in Sandusky. So it's a huge celebration. We have a lot of old timers who are coming back and who want to be involved with this celebration. So we're going to do a weekend-long All-Star Weekend. It's going to be July 8th through the 10th. It'll be open to the community, but we'll highlight things. On Friday night, we'll do players against coaches, where they play a baseball game against each other, which is it's always fun to watch.
That was the experience last year.
Yeah. We'll have all-star events on Saturday, competitions. We're looking at getting some of our safety services involved with the competitions as well. So that's going to be a big weekend. But generally, our season's going to start May 31st. It'll run through the middle of July, and then we'll have playoffs at the end of July, weather being on our best side. Otherwise, we might get delayed a week or two. Yeah, so we're hoping for that. We're also, we've been reaching out to different groups for financial donations to help with our improvements. We just did receive a sponsorship donation from Dick's Sporting Goods for $300 and coupons for athletes and players. We've got a grant into the Erie County Community Foundation to help with equipment for maintenance of our field, because right now the equipment dates back to 1999, so we're having a rough time getting parts, maintaining, using it. So we're trying to, get some upgrades to that, and we definitely are seeing a lot more people coming out right now to help us, which has been amazing.
That's correct. The biggest takeaway we had on the field upgrades was, as I was coaching last year before I became commissioner, and for example, we took our kids down to the Finley tournament, hosted by Ben Roethlisberger baseball complex, Steelers quarterback. And we were on the baseball field, right, and they were going off a rising mound. Now, the whole time that we played in Little League, we play off a flat surface. If you know any better, like Coach Coakley can tell you, coming off a rising mound to the batter's box, the ball's going to come very faster and more velocity, and our kids weren't ready for that. So I made it my duty this year, along with Megan and our other board members, to get our kids up to speed, so when we get area kids coming around here, our kids are left behind trying to play catch up. So we want our kids to be on the same level as all the other area baseball kids.
And what I would mention with that is our partnerships that we have right now. We've been meeting with Sandusky Schools with Coakley and Coach Moots. They came out to a coaches meeting and brought some really great information to our coaches, because we need to get them up to speed. We're really cleaning house and making good headway here. So we've had great partnerships with the schools. They're behind us. They know that the success of our kids are what's coming to them ultimately. So we've got to work together as a group. Same with the city. Everybody's been wonderful. We added a T-ball program on this year because rec department used to do that. So we're taking that over. We're lucky to be able to do that. It's exciting. We've seen a lot of registration for T-ball, and we had a lot of young kids at the clinics for T-ball. So that's been really great. And as well, the city's partnering. They're giving new field dirt this year. They're helping make sure that score boost or the score board's working again for us. Like they've been great partners with us right now.
We also getting our coaches certified training, CDC training. Each coach, for each team, has to pass a CDC course on concussion test. If you can't pass that test, you won't coach. You won't even step on our field. So we are putting down rules in place to make sure for kids' safety at all times. So.
Yep, and that includes Lindsay laws. Yep. We are doing background checks on coaches, the whole nine. So, and all the coaches have been very receptive to it. They're for it. They're excited for the change, and they're excited for the new season. So.
I am too.
Yeah.
All of our kids are going to be in a Memorial Day parade for the OVH. That's our first thing we do. That's the first thing we do for every year. Especially this is our 75th anniversary year. So all of our kids will be walking in the parade this Memorial Day, and we're gonna wear. My goal is, along with Megan and other board members, we're gonna try to get at least a couple old veterans to throw out the first pitch for opening day.
Yeah.
I looked at the forecast today, looking out to May. I hope it changes. It's supposed to rain.
We're really excited for baseball season, so we're looking at the weather.
I hope it changes. It's supposed to rain the first 3 days in June. the last day of May, so hopefully it changed by then, so.
Fingers crossed.
So those are my
But that's our
Olympic days.
spiel. If anybody has questions or wants to reach out, help out, we're open. We're open to the public. We're excited, we're happy.
What's the easiest way for anybody to get in touch?
Generally through email, phone. LaMarcus's information's been advertised mostly, so you can contact him directly.
We also created a official website that I'm excited about.
We do have
So,
a website.
Yeah, we have a website, we have a Twitter page now.
What are the sites? So just read into the record so we have it. Oh,
The website link is leagues.teamlink.com/SABL. I can write it down.
and all the
See my
posts.
face?
All the posts on Facebook have been great. Follow the
Okay.
league on Facebook. We try and share everything with Sandusky.
Yeah, and with that communication, that's one other step we're doing this year is getting a real app of some sort, whether it be Remind or Game Changer, that our coaches will have that app to issue out information right away, so they're not texting people or we're calling people. So that's another big thing we're trying to step up our game on and be better, so.
What's the last day to sign up? Officially,
The last day to sign up is April 1st. Then after April 1st, you got a $20 late fee for April 15th. So April 15th is the last day. Anything after that, you will go on the waiting list.
Yeah, and the goal for that is we want uniforms. We want kids to have uniforms by the time they play, by the time they walk in the parade, so, you gotta set a deadline, so that's where we're at.
and it's boys and girls
Yep.
ages
Boys and
3.
girls.
Is it 3 all the way to?
It's 4 all the way to 13. We're extending the ages with the T-ball and the 13-year-olds. So the 10-year-olds have an option because Adam League is 8, 9, and 10. So the parents have an option with their 10-year-olds, whether you want to send the 10-year-olds up to junior league, or if you think they want more development in Adam League, you keep them down an extra year.
Very exciting because they had Crushers game last year too, didn't?
I think that one of our coaches took the kids to the Crushers game. They did. Yep. So. Any questions?
Can't wait to see those. I think it's great.
They're off to a good start. Off to a really good start.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Jason. Moving on.
Old business. So the spring guide, I've given everyone, I think we may have a couple extra copies in case any guests wanted to take a look. The spring guide is out. It's on Facebook right now. We're going to release it out to the schools, both school districts and also Monroe Prep for getting kids signed up for that. I believe the spring break camp is half full so far, and that would be about 50 kids so far, 50 participants. And that will be March 28th, and 29th, and 30th during Sandusky City School spring break. Midtown Supper Club is back. We're starting a little bit later this year. Usually it's in the winter, and we have a spring pickup. This time we're going to start in April. I believe it's a barbecue theme for this year, and we've been working with Brad Kraft from the schools on that as well. Gymnastics schedule is in the guide. Tap Fit with Tandra is back, and Make It So Easy is back. And then the last page of the guide just has a few events, including the Easter egg hunt for this year, which will be a little bit later, the Saturday before Easter, so April 16th. Had discussions with Rotary, and also have an email string going with some of the partners we had for that last year. I can't stress enough for people to show up by 10 o'clock for the Easter egg hunt, because it's over in about 8 to 10 minutes, maybe even sooner, due to how many kids show up. And so if you're going to bring the kids, don't be late for the Easter egg hunt. Peer pressure is also on the guide. That starts first weekend in May and goes all the way through the last weekend in September. That's that free community workout that Firelands Health sponsors every Saturday at the pier. Little blurb for the Rundusky race series is on there. We announced our winners, Tanya Dvorsky and Todd Downing, who are both Sandusky Schools employees, won the prize package for this year. That gives them free entry to the races for this year, plus a prize package. But there's 9 races. That's the most races we've had, and all those races start and end in the city. So it's important to get people out there walking, running, and doing that. And then the last thing on the spring events page is the Shamrock Scramble, which I believe we may have a spot or two available, but Annette could talk more about that.
Well, right now we have 14 confirmed teams, possibly a 15th team. I just have to check the number of carts I have available. But we've been good response. The nice thing about it, it's a lot of new golfers coming out to the course, which is always a good thing. So that's where we're at with that one. And actually, we have 78 registered for spring break camp.
78 now. Nice. Any questions on the old business and updates for that part, for spring break? Moving on to Mills Creek Golf Course.
So currently, Mills Creek, like I said, we have the Shamrock Scramble. We're technically not open. We did open last Saturday because the weather was nice. We ended up having a good day. We were pretty busy. So our revenue to this point is, year-to-date, is $3,295. Of that is 5 passes that we've sold so far. So our pass count number right now, I believe, is 71. So 71 season passes have been sold. We're looking at opening April 1st as our first day that will officially open. Weather's looking like 50s next week, so if we can get golfers out there, we'll go ahead and do that. Cart path update. Mother Nature did not really cooperate with us. We either had a foot of snow, or we had rain, or we had ice, so that was not able to be done. We did notify Erie Metro Parks, and then, so our contract with that has been canceled, but, and not this year, but we would be able to apply for it as next year. So we still do have the application on file with Ohio Department of Natural Resources too. And that's what I have for Mills. Questions?
All right. Just a quick update for the Ironman event that's happening in July. They were in town a couple weeks ago discussing the course and the event, and they hired a volunteer director. Crystal, who works currently at Goodwill, is the volunteer coordinator director for that event. So anybody who's interested in being a part of that event, which would be like water stops, helping with traffic control, registration, that sort of thing, I can put them in contact with her. They're looking for hundreds of volunteers for it, so it should be a should be a great event. And they're also working with Firelands Health on a medical director for the event, so that's another important piece of that. So that's coming together for that. Any questions on that part?
All right. Anything else on our old business?
I do have an update on Safety Town. We did submit the grant to Whiteman Weber for just a variety of equipment, new signs, types of things that we have borrowed in the past 2 years. We did that. I did just speak with John Lippis, and his company is very interested in designing the Safety Town. So he's going to get that additional information for me. So it's, right now, our partnership is looking like Rotary, Firelands Health, that John Lippis's company is OHM Associates, Police and Fire, along with Recreation Department.
Awesome.
Good. All right, moving on to new business.
New business. So the city has just posted, I believe in the past week or so, a Director of Parks and Recreation and Properties position. This is a position that will include the operation of the greenhouse, our department with recreation, The parts of parks and maintenance, like the in the parks where they're, mowing the grass and doing the park program or park upkeep. I've got a description if there's anyone that wants to see more information on it. It is also posted at the city's website. And it looks like they're trying to, application deadline is March 21st or until filled. Any questions on that position? The rec board will work with that director position, and they'll basically work hand in hand with the Parks and Recreation director.
All right, moving on.
Paper District Marina. There's a little bit of, I don't know if you saw it, but there's some ice fishing over there in the winter. Some people were out there. But I had a request from our manager, James Kennedy, about looking at additional seasonal dockage as opposed to the transient dockage. He was looking for possibly 6 to 8 transient docks to be looked at as a possible seasonal option. He wanted me to bring it up as a discussion here. It would be something that would have to be brought to commission, because I believe there's a resolution that dictates the numbers of docks that have to be for transient and for seasonal. He's been there for about 5 years, and he's noticing more of a trend of a waiting list for seasonals and not as much of a waiting list on the transient docks. There are some peak times when they need more transient docks, but this is something that he's proposing, and I told him I would bring it to the rec board and also city commission.
So Jason, is he looking at switching the number of seasonal versus, transient docks?
Correct.
Or adding docks, period?
No, it wouldn't be adding docks. Currently we are at, let's see, with 27 seasonal slips and 8 jet ski docks. And he's got a long waiting list, he said, of people trying to get seasonal docks over there.
How many transient docks is that leaving?
So we're at, let's see, with the switch, if we were to use 8, if we were to make 8 more seasonal docks, that would make us at 24 transient and 38 seasonals, which is, the 38 seasonals also include the 3 boats that he is allowed to have there as part of the management of the.
Yes, Joe.
So that would be an increase of 8 permanent?
Be an increase of 8 is what he's requesting. Now, that could be
Does he have
adjusted.
numbers on, because you mentioned some of the busier weekends, I'm sure, big events, whatever. I mean, does he have like a top number, like on these 2 weekends we topped out at kind of thing?
I think the peak weekends are the ones that we all know about, Bike
Sure.
Week, if there's
Yeah.
a festival sale type 4th of July. He's already had some people reserving for the Ironman weekend.
Sure.
So
So what does he say about those?
that they will be at capacity.
Sell out?
Yeah,
At capacity.
they sell out, yeah.
So he's looking at, how many weekends does that occur?
Probably 4 to 5.
And he's probably open, 30 weekends? How many
Usually
weekends?
usually it's the first part of April, whenever you can get
April to
all the way through October.
October.
Yeah.
Jason, don't allow them to stop and eat, have a beer, and take off too.
Yeah.
So this transient thing could be
In and out.
multiple. You could have 4 or 5 boats in that.
In that slip
slip, yeah.
throughout the day?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds
They grab
reasonable.
Something to eat and they leave, so.
Right.
That's something to consider.
Yeah, and that is including whether it's an overnight. He
Right.
keeps track of whether it's overnights and 4-hour dockage. So that's something he wanted to have a discussion, and
I think it's worth a discussion for sure.
I would like to see more information of what he has, what weekends.
Yeah.
the peak weekends?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and
And
what
the
that
time
looks like.
breakdowns, if possible.
He's probably, like you said, he's been there 5 years. I gotta think he's got at least a couple years worth of data?
Yeah, about 5 years worth of data.
Yeah, because some of it, you know, you're gonna need to compare the 2018, 2019 with maybe, you're gonna have a gap with COVID in there that may
Well, more
skew the numbers.
boaters, more boaters with COVID,
Right.
I would imagine, but,
Could have been,
and it's also weather-based too, so
Sure.
if we've got seasonals in there that are throughout the whole season,
yes.
and
Yeah.
it's raining, you're not gonna get those transient numbers when you.
No, I think you're
Bad
looking,
weather.
yeah, it's finding the sweet spot for how many transients you just want to leave open, really. That's cool, yeah, more information would be great.
Okay.
Conceptually, it makes sense.
That's next April's meeting, we can get some information.
Sure, I can provide the info to the board members
Yeah,
through
so I just wanna,
email too.
what weekends, but you definitely think Memorial Day is gonna be jam-packed down there, so. All right, anything else in our new business?
Nope. Any other questions on new business?
Open. Tim?
Come to the podium so everybody can see me. Y'all know me, Tim Schwanger. I'm here for two different reasons. Number one, the Whiteman-Weber ice rink and the skate park behind City Hall. I don't know if any of you has watched the finance committees meetings, but I know that Mr. Waddington does. For this past year, we had, I believe, a $4 million carryover balance from last year, so our finances are doing pretty doggone good. We have an $18 million federal relief fund that the city is going to receive. I think we've already received $9 million. We're getting another $9 million in May. So what I'm here for is to advocate that for the Whiteman-Weber ice skating rink, that we finish off that project, fence it in completely like we used to have for the ice skating rink at Battery Park, fence it in completely with a man door and also a gate for any type of equipment that the city has to get in to clean the snow off the ice. We've seen every year that we've filled that rink that we've seen vandalism. I know Jason can attest to that the kids go out there prematurely. The ice gets roughed up and we just don't have the means to, straighten that back out again unless it rains. So I'm thinking maybe not this year. I don't know if you already have your budget set for this year, but maybe moving into next year when we have ice again, maybe we can look into doing something with that. About 2 months ago, I did purchase on my dime a 36-inch gas-powered, 9 horsepower. It's called a brush. The city used to use it on their ice rinks. It's a brush in the front. I'm either going to donate that to the city of Sandusky, or I'm going to see if I can't work out an agreement where I can, since it's my equipment, that I could go down and assist the city in clearing off that ice when there's too much snow or, whatever. The other thing is that with that $18 million for next year, maybe we can find some way to actually purchase a chiller, an ice-making machine for that rink. It was great to have an ice skating rink on the Jackson Street Pier this year, but let's be honest, when I grew up, we had 3 ice skating rinks in the city of Sandusky. Now we're down to 1, with real ice. So I'd like to see us concentrate on doing something with that ice rink. And I understand that it's not like when I grew up or when Dave grew up where we all had ice skates. Now we've got Xboxes and whatever else we're, Halo and whatever else we're playing. But there are parents in Sandusky and in the area, Perkins Township, that their kids do play hockey. They've got to go all the way to Elyria, Fremont, Bowling Green, you name it, any place but the city of Sandusky to practice their skills. Now, Huron this year put in an ice skating rink, which was a real rink, but it was filled with water. And I took a video. There was a couple kids that were practicing their skills. Mom and dad brought a small net, and they were practicing their skills. And were there hundreds of kids using it? Were there hundreds of adults using it? Not at all. But I think in the wintertime, we need to provide some type of outside activities for our children. And hey, I'm 60 years old. I still want to ice skate. I wear my hockey gear, so if I fall down, I don't break my hip. But I still ice skate. The other item is I need to get with Jason somehow next week is for the Skateboard Park. I purchased a 10 by 10 pergola from TSC. When the city cut down a couple of trees, there's no shade available at that facility. This past summer, I saw parents, they brought down their awnings, their tent, they were setting up tents for shade. So this would provide a permanent structure unless they move the skate park. But I would need some assistance from the city crews to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, because TSC took it apart while I wasn't there, so we're gonna have to, and there's no instructions on how to put it back together again, so, but I mean, everything's there, screws, just a few things have to be put back together again, so if I can get with you and find some way to officially.
I think I think there's an email request on that they're trying to figure out how that, I guess, works for a donation of that sort, because I know we've had shelters donated by, say, Kiwanis Club at Kiwanis Park, where that was a project. They came to us and wanted to do that, and they came to us in advance and said, we would like to provide a shelter for, and then there was a process of having them provide the drawings and the budget and how much it was going to cost and who was going to do it, and so that's on a different, I guess it's on a different level than what you're saying here.
I've got the dollar figure I can give you, and certainly if the city doesn't want to provide manpower to do it, I'm sure I can find manpower to do it. I just need the authority, the okay to do it, and you guys tell me where you want it, or.
Well, I think they're trying to figure out liability on it too, like if something would fall, if it's not built to a certain spec. That, as you know, the skate park is not only sunny and windy, conditions out there, so that's something that would be a concern of who's.
Well, this sat up all summer at TSC, and they get the same wind we do. I mean, it depends upon the wind direction. And, it's a pergola, so it's not like it's it doesn't have sides on it, doesn't have a top on it, so it's like the pergola you guys had at the Paper District Marina, but not as big, not as luxurious, but it's sturdy. I mean, it's not made out of plastic, it's metal. It's metal, so whatever we got to do to get that done, that'd be great.
I'll check on an update from them.
Thank you.
On the end of the ice skating chiller. So one of the things that we've had a problem with the ice skating down at Jackson Street Pier, really grateful you guys did that. It is a safety hazard, though unfortunately there's so much friction on it that it's actually quite unsafe, and there's a lot of maintenance that needs to go into it that wasn't done, so we weren't able to use it as much as we had hoped to. So we checked out all 3 ice arenas that were put up through Port Clinton, Sandusky, and Huron, and Huron had one of the nicest, Port Clinton had the best surface, and Sandusky was completely unskateable because of the vandalism. So a chiller would be wonderful if you guys were able to do that. We do have an ice skating club that we're starting to form, but we have to travel all the way to Elyria currently, and we do that twice a week, but there is a lot of demand for it from all the kids that skate over at Ghostly Manor as well. So they're starting to build up quite a few numbers at this point, and if there was any way that you guys could do that, there's definitely an interest for it.
And your name, please?
Crystal Nash.
Thank you.
Crystal, did the other, and I've driven by the one because you can see it from the interstate in Huron. It's natural, doesn't have a chill or anything, correct? And the one at Port Clinton, I presume, doesn't either. Okay, I just was curious as to how the other two were set up.
Well, let me just add to that. It's so, without a chiller, it's so weather.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And I'm not telling you anything you don't already know.
Right.
But there's been times when the city has filled it, and then you've got to wait like 4 or 5 days for it to get solid enough.
Sure.
And the kids don't do that. Like I said,
No, right, yeah, they're kids.
And I'm not saying vandalism. They just didn't know. They probably didn't know better.
Right.
Okay.
There were no signs up like there were at Huron.
Right. And then you open it up, and 2 days later it's 60 degrees.
Right.
So if you want use out of it the entire winter,
Yeah.
for 3 months, you got to have some kind of a chiller. And I keep all the minutes from this meeting. Mm-hmm. And I know you've discussed a chiller before, and I think it was like $400,000 or something. And then there was a concern of, okay, who's gonna man it? How are we gonna maintain it? I get all that. But outside winter activity in Sandusky is almost non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And, you know, if you look at all the facts and figures on obesity in our children, obesity in our adults, the more activity you can provide outside to work up a sweat, the better.
Right.
Not just 7 months out of the year, but 5 months, you know, the other 5 months when it's cold out.
Yep.
So,
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you so much for doing that.
I can tell you, Tim, downtown Willard takes the city block, cuts it off, just fills it with water. And I sent Jason a few pictures.
They didn't last year, I don't believe, but yeah.
No, they take a whole city block
Bryson.
downtown Willard and shut it off.
That's cool.
And the
But
bigger the
again, I'm
rink,
sure it's weather dependent as well. I'm sure that's weather dependent as well.
Correct.
They just kind of wait till they target a weekend and then do it based upon the weather report.
Yep.
I got you.
the bigger
The
the
other
rink.
thing with the chiller too is a water source. You have to have something that is going to replenish your water. Because when you do the chiller, I actually came from the city of Elyria and the ice skating rink over there. And when they do it, it obviously, you have to keep the levels with the water. So you have to have a continuous water source available.
Mother Nature does not like controlled conditions.
No, Mother Nature,
No, not at all.
right.
And then we do have, unfortunately, bigger swings in our weather than I remember as a kid, you know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, thank you for the
You're
feedback.
welcome.
Yeah. And I believe we spoke at the synthetic rink, and
that's
you're doing
right.
some crazy backward skating, which I can't even go forward and turn.
I'm a competitive figure skater for 15 years. I was contemplating trying to do a volunteer class for the little ones, but there hasn't been enough ice throughout the winter to be able to do anything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
And this year with the synthetic, it was a pilot year to figure out how.
I wanted to get one for myself. I've thought about it for years, but actually getting the opportunity to try it, and it does not live up to the hype of what's advertised, for sure. It's a lot of friction.
Jason, speaking of water source for what Ned brought up, there is a water source there now, right? I mean,
That's how they filled it, right?
well, I don't
No,
know,
the
but did fire crews still?
Fire, did they
Well,
do it from
fire
the
did-
hydrants?
Fire did some of the maintenance work on it, but there is a, under the plate, kind of, the one that's, you can see that's inoperable, but there is a plate that they can tap into I think it's on the other side of the path that goes through there.
Okay, so there is a water source, there is a water source there. Okay.
I believe
But
so.
it would have to be acclimated to the.
Right.
Yeah, connected somehow.
Once you get above the ground and freeze and, yeah,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Anything else?
I really appreciate it.
If we need to go.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Well, we have
Motion
to,
to,
yeah, we have to.
Oh, we have to
Executive
adjourn.
session.
Oh, thank you.
Any action afterwards?
Don't believe there'd be any vote, yeah.
Not that I know.
Nope.
All right.
Who were the motions?
Thanks for coming.
thanks. Motion to adjourn to executive session.
All right.
To adjourn, please.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, motion adjourned. We will come back to the date, Jason, April what?
April 13th, 4 o'clock.
Be back.